Good morning, students. Today we have lecture number 5 on alternating current. Lecture number 5 on alternating current for second year students. So in the previous lecture, in the previous class, we have studied about the that is sharpness, quality factor and resonance of LCR circuit, and we have studied different formulas for resonant frequency. So that is resonant frequency is given by omega naught is equal to 1 by root LC, or f naught is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi root LC. This is called resonant frequency. At the resonance, the current becomes maximum, impedance becomes minimum, and the sharpness of the curve is given by the quality factor. The sharpness of the curve is given by the quality factor, and that quality factor is defined as the ratio of resonant frequency to the bandwidth. Yesterday we have studied all these things. And now in the previous class only we can prove very easily. We can prove that delta W is equal to R divided by 2L. Delta W is equal to R divided by 2L. So delta W is nothing but bandwidth. Delta W, that is like this, we have taken a graph and we have taken W1 omega 1 and omega 2 as two frequencies at an instant when current becomes 1 by root 2 times the maximum value. Omega 1 and omega 2 are two frequencies at an instant when the current becomes 1 by root 2 times the maximum value. So that values, this is omega 1, this is omega 2 and this is omega naught, and this distance, this is called delta W, and delta W is equal to R divided by 2L. We can prove it, and now substitute this value here, so you will get, that is delta W is equal, that is Q is equal to omega naught divided by 2 into R divided by 2L. 2 get cancelled, so you can write Q is equal to omega naught into L divided by R. So this is another formula for quality factor. This is another formula for quality factor which you can use while solving the numericals. So these are so many formulas are there for quality factors, and most of the formulas are derived. So you can use these formulas while solving the numericals. Understood? So that's why I given this one more formula, that is Q is equal to omega naught into L divided by R. L is called inductance, and R is called resistance, and omega naught is called resonant frequency, and Q is called quality factor. And quality factor is just a number. Remember that quality factor is just a number. It does not have any unit and dimension. Quality factor does not have any unit and dimension. It is just a number. Generally, the value of quality factor lies between 10 to 100. Generally, the value of quality factor lies between 10 to 100 for VHF. That is VHF frequencies. For VHF frequencies, the value of quality factor generally lies between 10 to 100, and quality factor is just a number. It does not have any unit and does not have any dimension. So remember these things, which are to be remembered. Okay. So now in the today class we will study about the LC oscillations. So now we study about the LC oscillations. One of the important concept, LC oscillations. Okay. First, let us understand what is LC oscillations. Okay. What is LC oscillation? A capacitor is allowed to discharge. Okay. What are LC oscillation? First we shall understand. First we shall understand what are LC oscillation. When a capacitor is allowed to discharge, when a fully charged capacitor is allowed to discharge through a non-resistive inductor. When a fully charged capacitor is allowed to discharge through a non-resistive inductor, the electrical oscillations of constant amplitude and frequency are produced. When fully charged capacitor is allowed to discharge through a non-resistive inductor. And electrical oscillations, the electrical oscillations of constant amplitude and frequency are produced. So these oscillations are called as LC oscillations. These oscillations are called as LC oscillation. Once again I will tell you what are LC oscillations. When a fully charged capacitor is allowed to discharge through a non-resistive inductor, the electrical oscillations of constant amplitude and frequency are produced. These oscillations are called LC oscillations. Understood? So now let us consider a pure capacitor of capacitance C and a pure inductor of inductance L connected in parallel as shown in the figure. And this circuit or this diagram, this circuit is called as tank circuit. In electronics they will call it as tank circuit. That is a capacitor, a inductor connected in parallel. It is called as tank circuit. Remember the word. It's not required for electronic students. They will use it as tank circuit. Okay. So now first a capacitor is connected. First a capacitor and inductor are connected parallel. That is inductor, pure inductor of inductance L and pure capacitor of capacitance C. Now first the capacitor is charged by using a battery. First the capacitor is charged by using a external battery. When the capacitor is fully charged, then it is allowed to discharge. When the capacitor is fully charged, that is the charge on the capacitor is maximum, then electrical energy is stored in the electric field of the capacitor. We know that when the capacitor is fully charged, the energy is stored in the capacitor in the form of electrical energy in the electric field of the capacitor, and the electrical energy stored in the capacitor is given by UE is equal to 1 by 2 Q naught square divided by C. And this electrical energy initially it will be maximum. Because the charge present on the capacitor is maximum, because the capacitor is fully charged. And now the capacitor is allowed to discharge. By opening the circuit. Let us take here there is a plug key. Okay, let us take there is a plug key. So here plug key is open. And now here plug key is closed. So when it is closed means it is on. When plug key is on, then the capacitor is connected to the inductor. The charged capacitor, first it was fully charged. First it is fully charged by using a battery. When it is fully charged, the electrical energy is stored in the capacitor in the electric field. And the maximum electrical energy stored is given by this formula. And Q naught is the maximum charge stored on the capacitor. Then and during this situation the circuit was open. And now the circuit is closed. That is this plug key is made on. Then the capacitor will be connected to inductor. That is, the capacitor is allowed to discharge through the non-resistive inductor. As a result of that, the charge on the capacitor starts to decrease. And the electric current starts to increase. That is discharging action of capacitor. The charge on the capacitor will decrease us and electric current will increase us. And this increasing electric current, when passes through the inductor, the magnetic energy is produced. That is, magnetic field is produced around the inductor. That is, magnetic energy is produced. That is, the some part of the electrical energy is converted into magnetic energy. Some part of the electrical energy is converted into magnetic energy. So, because of discharging action of capacitor, and after some time, the capacitor gets completely discharged. That is, the current becomes maximum. That is, maximum current is called as I naught. This is not maximum. After some time, the current becomes maximum. when the current becomes maximum, so maximum current flows through the inductor, then the magnetic field, that is magnetic energy produced in the inductor becomes maximum. That is, magnetic energy is produced in the magnetic field of the inductor. Magnetic energy is maximum magnetic energy is produced in the magnetic field of the inductor. So at that condition, that is the magnetic energy becomes maximum. That is, magnetic energy is given by 1 by 2 L I naught square. So here magnetic energy will be 1 by 2 L I square. So here magnetic energy becomes maximum. And this will becomes maximum when electrical energy becomes minimum. Electrical energy becomes minimum because capacitor is completely discharged. And after some time, after that, the magnetic flux linked with the inductor, starts to decrease. The magnetic flux linked with the inductor starts to decrease. As a result, an electric current flows through the circuit in the same direction as in the figure B. An electric current flows through the circuit in the same direction as in the figure B. As a result of that, the capacitor once again gets recharged. Capacitor gets recharged, but capacitor gets recharged in a opposite direction. That is, this plate becomes positive and this plate becomes negative. But initially this plate was positive and this plate was negative, and later on this plate becomes positive and this plate becomes negative. That is, the capacitor is recharged. That means some part of the magnetic energy is converted into electrical energy. Some part of the magnetic energy is stored in the inductor. Some part of the magnetic energy stored in the magnetic field of the inductor is converted into electrical energy. And later, the magnetic energy completely decreases. That is, magnetic flux completely decreases. Then the charge stored on the capacitor becomes maximum. That is, the electrical energy stored in the electric field of the capacitor becomes maximum. That is, the complete magnetic energy is converted into electrical energy. So like this, so this process once again continues. Once again this is completely charged. Once again the capacitor start to discharge and inductor start to charge, and then once it becomes maximum, that is, the energy stored in the inductor becomes maximum. That is, magnetic energy stored in the inductor becomes maximum. Then inductor start to discharge and capacitor slowly starts to get recharged. So like this process of exchange of electrical energy into magnetic energy continues between inductor and capacitor. The process of exchange of electrical energy and magnetic energy continues between the inductor and capacitor, and this sets up an electrical oscillation. And these oscillations are called as LC oscillation. Understood? Hope you have understood this concept. Okay. If there is no loss of energy, if all these capacitor and inductor and all these wires are considered to be resistiveless, that is, if there is no loss of energy, then the oscillation produced will be undamped oscillations. The LC oscillations produced will be undamped oscillations if there is no loss of energy. But practically the material used to make inductor will have some resistance. Compulsory it will have some resistance. So there will be a loss of energy due to the resistance of the inductor. There will be some loss of energy due to the resistance of the inductor, as well as even if you consider resistance of the inductor as 0, then also there will be some loss of energy in the form of radiation. That is, energy is lost in the form of electromagnetic radiation. Hence, the LC oscillations produced are not undamped. Practically Practically, if you are speaking, LC oscillation produced are not undamped, so it will be damped LC oscillation. That is, the amplitude and frequency goes on decreases. So this is called a damped LC oscillation. That is, here it is called undamped LC oscillation, means the energy will remain constant. That is, the amplitude will remain constant. Understood? So if there is no loss of energy, then the LC oscillation produced are undamped oscillations. So, but practically there will be a loss of energy due to the, either due to the resistance or due to the electromagnetic radiation. So, there will be damped oscillations. Okay. So, now this graph indicates the variation of magnetic energy and electrical energy. This graph is of very important. This graph is very important to solve the numericals here. So, this line, that is, this indicates the variation of charge in this tank circuit, and this graph indicates the variation of current in this tank circuit. Understood? Okay. So initially at the time t is equal to 0, the capacitor is fully charged. That is, charge is maximum. That is, charge is maximum means electrical energy is maximum. At the time t is equal to 0, electrical energy is maximum and magnetic energy in the inductor is 0. Okay. And after some time, after that, when the capacitor starts to discharge, the charge of the capacitor decreases. As the charge of the capacitor decreases, the electric current will increases. As the charge of the capacitor decreases, the electric current will increases, and the increase in the electrical current indicates the increase in magnetic energy. The increase in the electric current indicates the increase in magnetic energy, and the decrease in the charge indicates the decrease in electric energy. Understood? And later at the time t is equal to t by 4, the charge becomes 0. And the current becomes maximum. That is, charge becomes 0. That means electrical energy is completely discharged. That is, electrical energy is 0 and magnetic energy becomes maximum. That is 1 by 2 L I naught square. So that is at time t is equal to t by 4. So like this, so this graph shows at which instant the electrical energy will be maximum and at which instant the magnetic energy will be maximum. Understood? So by knowing this graph, you can understand the time at which electrical energy is minimum or the time at which magnetic energy is minimum. Understood? Okay. So in this LC circuit. Understood? Okay. So now we have to derive an expression for frequency of LC oscillation. So now we will derive an expression for frequency of LC oscillation. Okay, here only I will tell. So consider an inductor of inductance L. It is connected to a capacitor in parallel. As a result, the potential difference developed across the capacitor must be equal to the potential difference developed across the inductor, because they are connected in parallel. Potential difference across the capacitor must be equal to the potential difference across the inductor. Potential difference across the capacitor is given by Q by C, and potential difference developed across the inductor is given by minus L di by dt. So therefore, you can write this as Q by C plus L di by dt is equal to 0. And since we know that I is equal to dq by dt, that is, current I is equal to rate of change of electric charge. So substituting that is q by c plus L d by dt of dq by dt. So you will get a double derivative, that is q by c plus L d square q by dt square, d square q by dt square. okay, is equal to 0. So this is equal to 0. That is q by c plus L d square q by dt square. So this is called double derivative. We have studied in the mathematics. Hope you have studied in the mathematics. So now in the next step, so now multiply, divide this by L, divide by L on both sides, divided by L on both sides. That is, it will becomes q divided by LC plus d square q by dt square is equal to 0, or you can write it as d square q by dt square plus q divided by LC is equal to 0. So this equation is in the form of, that is d square q by dt square plus q by LC is equal to 0. This equation is in the form of d square x by dt square plus omega square into x, plus omega square into x is equal to 0. This equation is in the form of d square x by dt square. It is d square x by dt square plus omega square into x is equal to 0. This is equation of simple harmonic motion. It is nothing but a equation of simple harmonic motion. That is, in the first year we have studied. That is, the acceleration is directly proportional to the displacement. Acceleration is directly proportional to the displacement. That is, x is the displacement and d square x by dt square is nothing but acceleration. D square x by dt square is nothing but acceleration. X is the displacement. That is, d square x by dt square is proportional to x. That is called simple harmonic motion, which we have studied in the first year. And this omega is called a constant. It is a constant of proportionality. That is called a frequency of a simple harmonic motion. So hence we can compare these two equations. And comparing these two equations, we observe that the charge is replaced by displacement. That is, displacement in the simple harmonic motion is replaced by charge. The displacement in the simple harmonic motion is displaced by charge, and the acceleration in the simple harmonic motion is replaced by d square q by dt square. That is the rate of change of current. You can say it as rate of change of current. This is rate of change of current only. Okay, that is nothing but di by dt only. So this is rate of change of current. Okay. So comparing these two equations, we get omega square is equal to 1 by LC, or omega is equal to 1 divided by root LC. So this is the expression for frequency of LC oscillation. Where omega is called as frequency of LC oscillation. That is, the LC oscillation produced are simple harmonic waves. The LC oscillation produced are simple harmonic in nature. The LC oscillations are simple harmonic in nature. So that is, whatever the rules that is you have used while studying simple harmonic motion in the first year, so all that things are applicable to this LC oscillations. Understood? Okay, hope you have understood this concept. This is the frequency of LC oscillation, or you can write it as f is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi under root LC. It looks like same as resonant frequency. So but this will be different. Okay, this is the expression for frequency of LC oscillation. Hope you have understood this concept of LC oscillation. Okay. So now next we shall study the next concept, that is transformer. See here in the syllabus, two concepts have been removed. I will explain about that two concepts. That is power dissipated in a circuit, LCR circuit. Power dissipated in an LCR circuit and wattless current. Power and wattless current. These two concepts have been removed in this year because of COVID. In this alternating current chapter, these two concepts have been removed. So, but still I will give the formula for this power dissipated in a LCR circuit. The power dissipated in an LCR circuit is given by That is, the average power dissipated in an LCR circuit is given by P is equal to Vrms into Irms into cos pi. So this is the formula for power dissipated in an LCR circuit, or you can write this as P is equal to Irms square into R, Irms square into R. Like this also you can write. So here cos, this is P is called power dissipated in an LCR circuit. Okay. Vrms is the applied voltage, Irms is the AC current, and phi is the phase difference between the current and voltage. Phi is the phase difference between the current and voltage, and the factor cos phi, the factor cos pi is called as power factor. The cos pi is called as power factor, and it can be proved that cos pi is equal to R divided by Z. Cos pi is equal to R divided by Z for LCR circuit. For LCR circuit, cos pi is equal to R divided by Z. Understood? Okay. So in the case of LCR circuit, and this cos pi is called as power factor. It is called as power factor. Just for your understanding, why I have given this formula means because numericals they have asked in the previous exams, they have asked numericals on this power factor as well as power dissipated in a LCR circuit. So if you know these formulas, you can solve the numericals, no problem. If you know this much, at least, yeah, we can also tell that. So in a pure inductive circuit, that is, if there is a pure inductive circuit, so phi will be equal to 90 degree. In a pure inductive circuit or in a pure capacitive circuit, both pure inductive circuit and capacitive circuit, the phase difference between current and voltage will be 90 degree. So hence power dissipated is 0. Cos of 90 degree is 0, so power dissipated is 0. In a pure resistive circuit, the current and voltage both are in phase. The current and voltage both are in phase. Therefore, the phase difference between current and voltage is 0 degree. So therefore, power dissipated is given by P is equal to Vrms into Irms, and cos of 0 degree becomes 1. Cos of 0 degree becomes 1 in the case of resistor. So that is, so power is dissipated in the case of resistor. Maximum power is dissipated in the case of resistor, whereas in inductor and capacitor the power dissipated is 0. In the inductor and capacitor the power dissipated is 0. Only power is dissipated in a resistor. Understood? Okay. And this cos pi is called as power factor. Cos pi is called as power factor, and we can prove that cos pi is equal to R divided by Z for a LCR circuit. Understood? Okay. So these two concepts, that is power and wattless current, are removed from the syllabus. So I am not going to teach about that, but it will be there in the notes. You can read from the notes, okay, on your own. Okay. So did you understood this LC oscillation? And remember this diagram. This diagram is important for understanding of LC oscillations. Okay. Now we shall study about the transformer. Now next we shall study about the transformer. Next concept, transformer. Okay. A transformer is a device. A transformer is a device which converts or which is used to convert low alternating voltage at high current, into high alternating voltage at low current. Here, understand the definition properly. A transformer is a device. Used to convert low alternating voltage at high current into high alternating voltage at low current. Or vice versa. That is, a transformer is a device. Like this also you can tell. A transformer is a device which is used to convert high alternating voltage at low current into low alternating voltage at high current. Thus, a transformer is a device which is used to either increase or decrease the alternating voltage. To increase or decrease the alternating voltage, a device is used. that device is called that device is called transformer. So it is alternating voltage can be very easily increased or very easily decreased. So by using a transformer, there are two types of transformer. One is step up transformer. One is step up transformer. A step up transformer is a device which converts low alternating voltage at high current into high alternating voltage at low current. That is, a step up transformer increases the alternating voltage. A step up transformer increases the alternating voltage. And the circuit symbol for a step up transformer is as shown in the figure. So this is for a circuit symbol of a step up transformer. So circuit symbol of a step up transformer. A step up transformer increases the alternating voltage by decreasing the current. A step up transformer increases the alternating voltage by decreasing the current. Okay, next, step down transformer. Step down transformer. Same, this is reverse. A step down transformer is a device which is used to convert high alternating voltage at low current into low alternating voltage at high current. Don't get confused here. A step down transformer is a device used to convert high alternating voltage at low current into low alternating voltage at high current. That is, a step down transformer decreases the alternating voltage by increasing the current. A step down transformer decreases the alternating voltage by increasing the current. And the circuit symbol for a step down transformer is shown in the figure. So this is a step down transformer and this is a step up transformer. Understood? Okay. So now principle. What is the principle of a transformer? A transformer works on the principle of mutual inductance. A transformer works on the principle of mutual inductance. That is, an EMF is induced in a coil due to the change of magnetic flux in the neighboring coil. A transformer works on the principle of mutual inductance. A transformer works on the principle of mutual inductance. That is, an EMF is induced in a coil due to the change of magnetic flux linked with the neighboring coil. And now construction. Simple construction of transformer. A transformer consists of two separate coils of insulated wire wounds. A transformer consists of two separate coils of insulated wire wound on the same iron core. Two separate coils of insulated wire wounds on the same iron core. That is, this is one coil and this is another coil insulated on the same iron core. This is same iron core. On the same iron core, there will be two coils wound. That is, insulated wires are wound on the same iron core. Okay. So now the iron core, that is the insulated wire connected. The one of the insulated wire is connected to the AC source. It is connected to the AC source and it is called primary coil. It is called primary coil. And another coil, another insulated wire, wound wire, another insulated wound wire on the iron core is connected to the output, where the output is taken. That is called as secondary coil. It is called as secondary coil. It is connected to a load resistance. It is connected to a load resistance. Okay. So now the coil, that is the primary coil which is connected to the AC battery. The primary coil which is connected to the AC battery together, it is called as primary circuit. It is completely called as a primary circuit. And the secondary coil connected to the load resistance, where output is taken. Here output is taken. Here output is taken and here input is given. Here input is given. So here input is given and here output is taken. That is the secondary coil connected to the load resistance where output is taken. That entire circuit is called as a secondary circuit. This entire circuit is called primary circuit. This much is enough for construction. And now working. Now working. Okay, understand carefully. So working. So now working. When an alternating EMF, when an alternating EMF is applied to the primary coil, when an alternating EMF EP, when an alternating EMF EP is applied to the primary coil, an alternating current flows through the primary coil. An alternating current flows through the primary coil. Due to this alternating current, the magnetic field linked with the primary coil changes. The magnetic field linked with the primary coil changes. That is, there will be a changing magnetic flux linked with the coils. There will be a changing magnetic flux linked with the coils. And this changing magnetic flux induces an EMF in the secondary coil. This changing magnetic flux induces an EMF in the secondary coil. That is ES. Induces an EMF in the secondary coil. As a result, an induced AC current IS flows through the secondary coil. When IS flows through the load resistance R, then you will get output. Understood? Okay. So now let us consider NP and NS be the number of turns in the primary and secondary. NP and NS be the number of turns in the primary and secondary. NP be the number of turns in the primary coil and NS be the number of turns in the secondary coil. Then according to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, EP, that is EMF applied in the primary coil is given by EP is equal to minus NP into d phi by dt, and similarly ES, that is induced EMF in the secondary coil or output voltage in the secondary coil, ES is equal to minus NS into d phi by dt. So that is the induced EMF or output EMF is directly proportional to the number of turns. Now divide these two equations, that is ES divided by EP. If you divide these two equations, ES divided by EP and d phi by dt cancel. That is magnetic flux linked with these coils induces an EMF. So magnetic flux linked with both the coils is same. d phi by dt is same. So it will cancel and you will get NS divided by NP, and this can be written as equal to a constant called K, and K is called transformation ratio, a transformation constant, or it is called turns ratio. Transformation ratio or turns ratio. If K is less than 1, then NS will be less than NP. That is, number of turns in the secondary coil is less than the number of turns in the primary coil. NS will be less than NP. That is, it will be a step down transformer. Number of turns in the primary coil is greater than the number of turns in the primary coil. Number of turns in the primary coil is greater than number of turns in the secondary coil. That is, if K is less than 1, then the EMF, primary EMF, that is the primary EMF will be greater than secondary EMF. That is, a high AC voltage is converted into low AC voltage. A high AC voltage is converted into low AC voltage in a step down transformer. This is circuit symbol of a step down transformer. See here, NP is greater than NS, that is number of turns in the primary is greater than number of turns in the secondary. So in a step down transformer, high alternating voltage is converted into low alternating voltage. So here alternating voltage will be high and here alternating voltage will be low. That is because of change in the number of turns. Understood? Okay. Similarly, if K is greater than 1, if K is less than 1, then it will be a step down transformer. If K is greater than 1, then NP will be greater than NS. NS, that is greater than 1. So that means NS is greater than NP. NS will be greater than Np. That is, number of turns in the secondary coil is greater than the number of turns in the primary coil. Then it is called as a step-up transformer. Then it is called as a step-up transformer. So in this case, that is ES, that is output voltage, is greater than the input voltage. The output voltage is greater than the input voltage. That is, the low voltage, low AC voltage is converted into high AC voltage. That is called as a step-up transformer. Hope you have understood this concept. Okay. So this is working of a transformer. So this formula, that is ES divided by EP, NS divided by NP is equal to K, is applicable only for an ideal transformer. It is applicable only for an ideal transformer. An ideal transformer is one in which there is no loss of energy. We will consider that there is no loss of energy due to resistance, there is no loss of energy due to flux leakage, there is no loss of any kind of energy. In such kind of situations only this formula is applicable. That is for an ideal transformer. Thus, for an ideal transformer, output power is equal to input power. For an ideal transformer, output power is equal to input power. That is, output power is written as IS into ES into IS is equal to input power is written as EP into IP. So that is, output power is equal to input power for an ideal transformer. So thus we get the relation that E is inversely proportional to I. E is inversely proportional to I. That is, potential, that is voltage, AC voltage is increased or decreased by decreasing or increasing the current. AC voltage is increased by decreasing the current, or AC voltage is decreased by increasing the current. So that is the fact that we use in a transformer. Understood? Okay. So now the efficiency of a transformer. The efficiency of a transformer is given by ratio of output power to the input power. The ratio of output power to the input power is called efficiency of a transformer, and that is output power. Output power means ES IS divided by EP IP. And for an ideal transformer, the efficiency of an ideal transformer is equal to 100%. The efficiency of an ideal transformer is equal to 100%. That is, if there is no loss of any energy. But in practically there will be a loss of energy. So practically the efficiency of a transformer lies between 90% to 99%. So this shows that there will be a loss of energy in the transformer. Understood? So hope you have understood all this concept. This is a transformer. So many times they have asked the questions related to transformer. Try to understand the concept. Okay. So now let us study about the energy loss in a transformer. How this energy is lost in the transformer. Okay. The energy loss in a transformer are of different types. The energy loss in a transformer are of different types. The energy loss due to heating. The primary and secondary coils are made up of copper wires. The primary and secondary coils are made up of copper wires, and these copper wires will have resistance. As a result of that, heat is produced. So there will be a copper loss, it is called copper loss, and this can be minimized by using the thick wires. Thick wires. Okay. So loss due to eddy current. There will be energy loss due to eddy current. The flux, that is the magnetic flux linked with the coils, induces an eddy current. And due to the eddy current, the heat is generated. So there will be a loss due to the heat energy, and this can be minimized. That is, the eddy loss can be minimized by using a laminated iron core. That is, iron core is laminated So that is we have studied already in the eddy currents. So by laminating the core, we can minimize the eddy loss, and there will be a loss due to flux leakage. That is, the magnetic flux linked with the primary coil may not be linked with the secondary coil. That is, all the magnetic flux, the complete magnetic flux linked with the primary coil may not be linked with the secondary coil. So there will be a loss of energy due to the flux leakage. There will be some loss of energy due to the flux leakage, and this can be minimized by winding the secondary coil over the primary coil. By winding the secondary coil over the primary coil, that is, primary coil and secondary coil are also winded one on another. And there will be a loss due to the hysteresis, that is, hysteresis loss. So that is, the iron core continuously undergoes magnetization and demagnetization. Due to the magnetization and demagnetization of iron core, there will be a hysteresis loss, and this hysteresis loss can be minimized by using the material of core which has less hysteresis curve, which has very less hysteresis curve. A material which has very less hysteresis curve, such kind of material is used to make the core of the transformer. Core of the transformer. Generally, core of the transformer is made up of soft iron. Soft iron. Why it is used as soft iron? Because the soft iron has very less area of hysteresis loop. We know that the area of the hysteresis loop indicates the energy loss. Understood? So these all are the losses of energy in a transformer. Hence, the efficiency of transformer will not be 100% practically the efficiency of the transformer will not be 100%, but for an ideal transformer the efficiency will be 100%. Okay, so what are the uses of transformer? A transformer is used in a voltage regulator. A transformer is used in a voltage regulator of TV, refrigerator, etc. A transformer, a step-up transformer and step-down transformer are used in transmission and distribution of electrical energy. In transmission and distribution of electrical energy, the step-up transformer and step-down transformers are used. The step-down transformer is used in weldings. The step-down transformer is used in weldings and induction furnace. And a step-up transformer is used in radio tunings. Step-up transformer is used in radio tunings. So these all are the applications or uses of transformer. So it is a transformer is used as a voltage regulator, and step-up transformer and step-down transformer are used to transfer the electrical energy over a long distance. Okay. And then step-down transformer is used in welding and induction furnace, and step-up transformer is used in radio tuning circuits. Okay. So these all are the applications of transformer. So now what are the advantages of AC? What are the advantages of AC? So that is, alternating current is more advantageous than DC current. That is, what are the points, main points? That is, AC can be easily stepped up or stepped down by using a transformer. That is, alternating voltage or alternating current can be easily increased or decreased by using a transformer. And AC can be easily converted into DC. AC can be easily converted into DC, but DC cannot be easily converted into AC. And now, third one, the AC can be, that is, alternating voltage or alternating current can be very easily, can be transmitted over a long distance without loss of energy. That is, with a very less loss of energy. So that is, AC signals can be transmitted from one point to another point over a long distance with very less loss of energy, but this is not possible with DC. And fourth one, the devices using the AC current will be more efficient. The devices will be more efficient. So these all are the some applications of AC over the DC. So what are the disadvantages? So some disadvantages are also there. It is, the AC is more dangerous than DC. The AC is more dangerous than DC, and AC cannot be used in electroplating. AC cannot be used in electroplating. So these all are some advantages and disadvantages of AC. Okay. So this completes the theory part of alternating current. This completes the theory part of alternating current. This much of concept theory part is enough. From the next class we will solve numericals on alternating currents. Okay.